So when your kids don't want to put their shoes on, they don't want to go to school, or when they're fighting with each other, or they're crying and they're sad and you don't really understand why, in all these kind of cases, NVC can be super helpful. I noticed this myself. I was actually babysitting a lot while I was studying NVC, and I noticed that first of all, I felt a lot more connection with the kids. It was a lot more easy to create a sense of connection between us. And also that the conflicts or the anger or the sadness, everything was a lot more light and easier to solve, and I felt a lot more self-confident in doing all of those things. So I'm super happy to share with you everything I learned about doing NVC with kids. And I'll do so in a three-part series with 3 videos. Based on all the things you wrote to me about what you find challenging in communicating with kids. So the first video will be, this one, will be about how to start in a very simple way, because it's quite hard to try out NVC for the first time if either you are triggered or your kid is triggered, or maybe even both. So I want you to mainly have a lot of self-compassion while you're learning NVC. So I want you to start with something super simple, which is an exercise that you can do when both you and your child are kind of relaxed, calm, spacious. And this exercise can be done in like 5 minutes. It's called likes and dislikes. And what you're going to do is very simple. You just ask your child, what did you like about this day and what did you not like? Or about this week, depending on how often you want to do it. And then you just listen. And the way to listen and the way to start practicing NVC while listening, I will demonstrate it with 8-year-old Thibaut. So I'll be giving 3 do's and 3 don'ts while listening to him, so you can learn how to do it yourself. I hope you enjoy the demo.
Heb je al iets wat in je opkomt, wat je leuk vond of wat je niet leuk vond?
Ja, ik ken gewoon wel wat.
Wat zei je?
Ik ken gewoon iets.
Heb je al iets?
Ja, ik vond het leuk om met jou over te gooien.
Ja?
Ja.
Wat vond je daar leuk aan?
Dat we zo met elkaar een soort van spelen eigenlijk. Want ik doe het bijna nooit.
Zo'n spelletje waar je gewoon lekker kan gooien.
Ja.
So the first thing I want to recommend is to reformulate your kid, which just means that you repeat the essence or the last thing that he was saying. And by doing this reformulating, your kid will have a sense of being heard and understood.
Daar heb ik heel veel van. Natuurlijk dat ik voor Sinterklaas een ding had gekregen. Deze kreeg ik voor mijn verjaardag.
En die is voor je verjaardag?
Ja, dat vond ik ook heel leuk. Dat ik deze voor mijn verjaardag kreeg.
Want die wou je eigenlijk heel graag hebben, zeker?
Ja.
En je zei wat je ook leuk vond, Sinterklaas? Ik verstond het niet
Sinterklaas,
helemaal.
dat ik mijn schoen hier had gezet, dan kan ik het er nu even bij pakken. Zo.
En heb je ook iets wat je niet leuk vond? Iets wat stom was?
But you might notice that I leave a lot of silences, and that's the second thing I actually want to recommend. This silence helps your kid to really connect with himself, and you can see that Thibaut is doing that as well.
Ja. Dat Bens elke keer altijd op de Wii zit. En nooit iets anders. Hij zit echt elke dag, de hele dag gewoon te wieën. En als het heel eventjes naar beneden gaat, hij gelijk weer doorwieën. Alleen vanavond blijft hij niet meer door. Dan gaat hij slapen natuurlijk.
So now it's very tempting for me to help him. And this is where it gets interesting, because when you listen to kids, or actually to anyone, it's maybe even more about what you don't do than about what you do. So here are the 3 don'ts the 3 things I would recommend you not to do. So the first thing that might be very tempting to do is to try to educate him or judge him actually a little bit by saying, for example, well, maybe Ben's just really likes the game. Trying to make him see something. And this would actually probably create this feeling of loneliness in him, because he just wants to be heard in where he is right now. The second thing that I would recommend you not to do is to, in this moment, to give advice or a solution. So for example, maybe you can talk with Benz. In this moment, again, he just wants to be heard, and half of the time, kids don't need a solution. They come up with their own solution, or they just want to be heard, and then they just move on with their day. And the third thing I want to recommend you not to do is to reassure your kid. For example, in this case, I could have said something like, "Oh, don't worry, it's okay, like you can go on the Wii after Ben's." And what you're doing in that moment is actually your child is trying to say like something's not okay for them. And then I'm going to say that it actually is okay. So I'm going to kind of argue with their feelings, which again has a high chance of leaving them feeling kind of lonely. So those are the 3 things I would recommend you not to do. And I know it's very hard to not do them. So this is actually, if you manage to notice that you're doing it, at least as a first start, that's already great. And what you'll see with Thibaut is that because I'm not interrupting him, I'm actually getting more information. And I guess that's really what a lot of parents want, right? To know what is actually going on in them. And you'll see with Thibaut that we're going to get more information about why he mourns that his brother is on the Wii.
De hele dag blijft gewoon wieën. Omdat we nu een spelletje hebben, ik vind het zo leuk. Maar je kan toch ook gewoon iets anders doen. Even een beetje buiten spelen, want het is nu sneeuw. Een spelletje kan je het hele jaren nog spelen.
Vind je het jammer dat hij dan achter de Wii zit en dan wil je graag samen met hem spelen?
Ja.
So here I'm guessing his feelings and needs, and that's my third tip. To guess a kid's feeling, I'm saying like, do you mourn? And to guess his needs, I was saying, would you like to play together with him? And officially, there's not really an abstract need. The official need might have been something like, company or togetherness. But if I would ask that can be a little too abstract for kids. So I translated a few needs to kind of simple kids' needs. And I made a top 15 of their most common ones in Dutch and English. And you can download those on my website, and you can use them to guess your kid's feeling and needs. And when you do that, you create even more like connection and clarity, like what is going on in them. And as I said before, quite often when you find a kid's need, and same for grown-ups actually, they don't need a practical solution anymore. And you'll see that the same happens with Thibaut. He's kind of complete after we found his need.
Dat is het eigenlijk.
Ja. Ben je helemaal leeg?
Ja.
Wil je iets van mij horen wat ik stom of leuk vond?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the end, I do a check, like, are you complete? Are you completely empty? Do you want to say anything more? And in this case, because I had a sense he was quite spacious, I also asked, would you like to hear me? I wouldn't always do this. If a kid is still kind of emotional or have a sense they're a bit full, I wouldn't do that. But in this case, I thought it could be actually connecting to also share what was going on in me.
Ja. Ik vond het ook heel leuk om met jou met die bal, het was niet echt een bal, maar met dat dingetje te gooien.
Ja.
Vooral dat we dat bord ertussen gingen zetten en dan er overheen gingen gooien.
Ja.
Of dat ik met mijn ogen dicht ging gooien en met mijn ogen dicht ging vangen en dat het niet zo goed ging.
Nee, ik bleef echt zo. Jij gewoon, ik bleef gewoon zo. En dan vloog hij er langs.
Ja. Iets wat ik niet zo leuk vond. Dat we even moesten wachten op Astara en dat ik dacht, oh, ze komt misschien al en ik had een beetje honger. En toen was ik een klein beetje aan het vervelen en toen gingen we wel dat spelletje doen, dus toen was het wel weer leuk. Maar daarvoor was ik me even aan het vervelen.
Ik ook echt.
Jij ook?
Ja. Dat was het, denk ik.
Ja.
So the next thing is how to do NVC when either you or your kids, or maybe even both, are triggered. If you'd like to see the videos that I'm going to make about that, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cup of Empathy, so you stay up to date when those are ready.